Hello, this is Father Bruce Wilson from Coastal Bend Community Empowerment. I'm with my friend Johnny Bailey. Good morning, Johnny.
Morning.
And we're going to just chat a little bit about the diversity of the homeless community. There's a tendency to make assumptions or generalizations or stereotypes about people who are on the streets. And that's not helpful because people on the streets who are unhoused, unsheltered at the moment, they're not the same. They're just not the same. They're just as different as real people. So my friend Johnny here and I are just going to chat about the diversity of people who are experiencing homelessness, people who are going through that, and how they're different. Their needs are different. The outcome is different if we were able to help them, and so on. So I don't know, Johnny. From your perspective and your history, maybe you should just tell us what your history is. You've had some history on the streets, and so you have firsthand knowledge about what life is like and what people are like. So maybe say a bit about your history, and we'll try to make this a 10 or 15 minute video. We might go over, but tell just a little bit about yourself, and then let's talk about how the people that you know who are still in the streets, people you knew when you were out there, they're people. They're not like they're not the same. They're not. We can't just generalize and say, "Oh, homeless people are like this," or "Homeless people are like that."
Yeah, I understand. When I come to Corpus September 2014, I come from Austin.
You may have to talk louder.
I come to Corpus in September 2014. I come from Austin, and I just kind of fell off the grid real seriously back in about 2018, and being out there, you think everybody's the same at first. And I guess I was out there about 2 years, struggling with my addiction and things, and I've taken care of that issue, so that was a big help for me getting off the street. But everybody's not the same, and it took me, I guess, about a year and a half to figure that out, being in that position. Because I'm thinking, okay, everybody's, the same position out there. No, basically that's not the issue, because you got some people have mental issues, drug issues and financial issues, and it's all in the same pot. It's all in the same pot, you know what I'm saying? And but I think the biggest mistake is that when people pass by in a car, they automatically judge. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking at the depth of the person or what they're going through. That is homelessness won't be out here. That's not, like I said, it's not the case. Some have mental issues, some have drug issues, some have financial issues. You know what I'm saying? But I think the biggest part that I've seen out there is I would say the mental side. I think that overrides everything, because the mental side is that, they're very much stuck. That overrides the drug addiction and financial addiction and all that. Because I know people out there that's been out there since 2015 and 16. Then I come to the point, I say, okay, they got some issues, and not just drugs. Because, for people doing drug and addiction, you know everybody, you know what I'm saying, and who does drugs and stuff like that. But you'll never see these people in that little circle. So you say, man, okay, they get situations way deeper than mine. Even though mine was deep for addiction, but they seem like that is a little bit more lost out there. But I think the biggest problem that people have is when, like I say, when they drive by the car and look at probably homeless. That's where the judging come in. So they don't take the time to really look at the picture. You know what I'm saying? Before the paint was on it, they just say, well, okay, he's homeless. He won't be out there. Some people, they don't know how to get out the street, man. That's a big transition. That's a big transition. It's been a big transition for me, too, because like I said, I was out there, about 2018, I got off October 14, 2020. And it's just a transition. I'm making a transition from homelessness to taking the next step as far as getting a place to stay, you know what I'm saying, and getting used to different people. And that transition, man, I ain't say I'm struggling with that transition, but I mean, it's reality now. You know, I think when a lot of people's out there like that, man, they don't even think about the transition until it's right there in their face. And they'll say, man, wow, man, I got to do this now. I got to take responsibility for things and like that. And they don't see that picture till it's right there in their face. But like I said, I've been struggling with transition, but it's reality because I'm not living like that no more. But like I said, I think that's the biggest issue when people get judged at.
So I'm sure people judged you, but your story is your story, and your story is not like everybody else's story.
And everybody's story, like I said, everybody's story is different, man. You know what I'm saying? From, like I said, from mental issue to financial issues, man, to, you know, everything, man.
We can analyze some of those if we have time. Let me identify some of the generalizations or stereotypes people make. A lot of folks are just scared of they meet a person who's experiencing homelessness and they're scared. They think that person is dangerous. Talk about that. I mean, are all people who are experiencing homelessness, are they dangerous?
I think, no, not all of them dangerous. I think that's where the judgment come in.
Yeah.
When you first meet that person, you kind of leery of them, you know what I'm saying? And if I met you, or you met somebody on the street, you know what I'm saying, that you know is not homeless, you know, you're not going to automatically judge that person. But you know what I'm saying, they're scared because of the position they're in, and they don't quite understand that. They don't quite understand that. You know what I'm saying? So
we're scared of things we don't understand.
Yeah.
But some people are dangerous.
Some people are. You know, okay, you got some normal people that's dangerous. Yeah, so what's the difference?
Right. That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's right.
You got some people that live in $1 million homes that's dangerous. You got some people living in $100,000 homes that's dangerous. But you don't view them like that right fast. You know what I'm saying? So why should you view somebody that's, you know what I'm saying, homeless? How can you view them like that?
Well, I think I
think because they're looking I think they're looking at it like them, they're desperate. They're desperate. Of course they're desperate, man. They're in a desperate situation, but that don't mean, you know, you can judge them to say that they're dangerous, you know?
Yeah, and you know, I think part of the issue is that being on the street has become criminalized, or there's an assumption that, or a stereotype that our culture has created, that anyone who is on the street, they're desperate, but they're a criminal in some way. They've done something wrong. They're on the streets because they just got out of jail. Or
you know what that is? They criminalize them because they ain't got nowhere to go.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have nowhere to go. They criminalize.
Right.
So guess what? Okay. You know what I'm saying? You see all these no trespassing signs, stuff like that. And I think that's designed. I think personally, that's designed. That's designed for a homeless person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't got nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's basically designed. Because if there wasn't no homeless people out there, you wouldn't see no trespassing signs.
Right.
You know?
Well, I'm just going to push a little bit harder on the danger that people pick up on. Some of that, I think, is because you do have people who are out on the streets because of addictions, and some of those people who have addictions are supporting themselves by selling drugs to other people who have addictions, and they lose themselves. They get so lost in their addiction, and out there on the streets that they begin to take advantage of other people who are vulnerable. So you've got some people on the streets who are the predators, and some people on the streets who are the prey, and people tend to see the dark side and make a stereotype about everybody.
Yeah, that's true. You know, you got your predators and prey out there.
Yes.
You know.
So, and that's one of the differences. Not all people are alike that are on the streets. Some are the prey, some are the predators.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, basically, you know what I'm saying, I was a predator. You know what I'm saying? I was a predator. You know what I'm saying? I had a buzzard mentality and a shark attitude.
A buzzard mentality
and a shark attitude.
and a shark attitude.
If I see it, if it look like it's wounded, I'm gonna check it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna check it, man. You know, and people, a lot of people are vulnerable out there,
Yeah.
especially mentally ill.
Yeah.
You know, I see people out there that got mental issues. They get a check, man. They get a check. You know what I'm saying? But man, you wonder, man, they get money, man. Why they won't get out the street? You know what I'm saying? They really don't know. They really don't know how to, man. And they don't know how to ask for help. You know what I'm saying? Then that falls in place what you were saying. People are scared.
Yeah.
People are scared, but I think you really just got to take the opportunity.
Some people who are out there still on the streets are pretty successful at using the systems and the resources that are in place. They are drug free. They aren't struggling with an addiction. They're staying out of trouble. They're using the resources that are available to them, and so they feel pretty successful. And then they begin to be judgmental
against the other person. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right on that, because you know what I'm saying. To some degree, I was judgmental. You know, everybody, even though everybody's in the same position out there, but I was being judgmental. I mean, as for the addiction side, as far as I knew how to go get mine. So a person that's up there and looking around every day, hoping they can get some drugs, you say, man, what's wrong with them? You don't know how to go get it. You know what I'm saying? No, man, you know what I'm saying? You was out here big. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. So in that perspective, I became judgmental and things like that.
Like if I can do it, why can't they do it? We tend to compare ourselves to other people and judge other people's struggles if we've handled them better, or if we think that we are somehow we're better than them. I mean, that happens.
I'm gonna take it back to the stories for us being judgmental.
Yeah.
I guess it's September 2020. Richard come to the street because his house had burned down, and he was diabetic, so he didn't have no way to get his insulin. Had to stay cold, and he come out there. He didn't know how to move in the street. You know what I'm saying? So I took up time with him. I knew he didn't know how to move around the street, go get this, go get that. And so I became judgmental, like, man, he don't know how to do nothing out here. Okay, he wasn't used to that. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't used to that, and but I showed him and things like that. But if a person just met him and then sit down and have a conversation, you wouldn't even know what his issue was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't know that, okay, my house burned down, man, I lost everything,
Right.
I'm going through a divorce. You wouldn't know that. You just put him in the same box with me.
Yes.
You wouldn't even know.
Right.
You wouldn't know I had addiction.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you put him in the same category.
Right.
Oh, he's sleeping on the sidewalk.
Right. So we judge everybody to be the same.
Yeah.
They're all alike,
Yeah.
but they're not all alike.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe to wrap this up, let's talk about, so what helps, what can be done. It's not like, you told me the other day when we were talking about this, it's not like one size fits all. To help people who are on the street to find themselves, to get over their addictions, or to deal with their mental issues, or the trauma. We hadn't even talked about trauma, which is at the root of most of this. But some people need one thing, some people need another to get off the streets. One size doesn't fit all, like you said. Let's talk about that. What is it? I mean, you have a path to get off the streets. Mm-hmm. Other people have a path to get off the streets. Some are like yours, and some are not. Can you talk about the diversity of what can be done?
Well, I think, basically, man, you just, you know what I'm saying, anybody trying to stop homelessness or trying to find out what's going on, don't get in the frame of mind like, okay, like you meet somebody at church, what are you doing this week? I'm going to help the homeless.
Yeah.
What are you going to be doing? Oh, we're going to give out blankets and gloves. No, that's not the issue. You know what I'm saying? Get to know the person and, you know what I'm saying, try to form your little community. You know what I'm saying? That you deal with 4 or 5 4, 5, 6 people a day, you know what I'm saying, on a regular basis, then you get to know them, and then you can say, oh, their needs are different.
Yes.
Their
Yes.
needs are different.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
But you have to get out there in the mud. You know what I'm saying? You just can't drive by and look at, like I say, you go to church and you know what I'm saying, and you ask your friend, man, what are you doing this week? Oh man, we're carrying stuff down to Mother Teresa's, we're carrying stuff down to the Salvation Army. And matter of fact, we're going to be handing out gloves and blankets, you know what I'm saying, to the homeless. You know what I'm saying? No, that's not the picture.
Right.
That's not the picture, even though you're helping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's more to it than that.
Right.
It's for us helping.
So I would say we have developed systems of helping other people that just perpetuate their problems. The systems that are in place to, quote, help people who are on the streets are actually just perpetuating the problem. The systems are part of the problem. We have to create systems that solve the problem. We need to just end homelessness. We need to just quit giving out gloves and scarves and making people more comfortable about being on the streets. That's not the
That don't solve
that's
the problem.
maybe that's an immediate solution to people who are hungry or who are cold, but that's not the long-term solution. Let's talk about now, next, and later.
Yeah.
And later, what is it that we've got to be working on as soon as we get people fed and clothed? Then what's next? Some people in the department, some people
like say people come out there and have their gloves and sleeping bags and blankets and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? When that's over, that's over. You know what I'm saying? They go home and we'll go out here and do the same thing next week. Okay, so how's that ending the problem? How's that solving the problem?
Yeah.
I think, you know what I'm saying, people got to sit down at the round table. You know what I'm saying? It's on the same note, same idea. How can we end this? Y'all, people like that, they have to sit down at the round table and look over gloves and blankets and scarves and going out there feeding. No, it's something more higher than that.
And when you say round table, what I think of is that a round table is inclusive of everybody. That means that people who are on the streets, people who are experiencing homelessness, are at the round table. There's a shared vision, a shared understanding.
No, I'm basically talking about people that's doing the same thing you're doing. Sitting at the round table, just trying to resolve the situation, trying to come up with ideas. They need to sit down at the table and everybody get on the same note. Man, how can we do better than this? How can we curb this situation instead of this going down there feeding, giving out blankets, giving out gloves? Let's come up with some solution.
Okay, then I'll put it this way, that if I want to get together with people who have the capacity and the resources to really help end homelessness, I don't know what that means unless I do what you said a while ago, which is to get to know some of my homeless friends, some of my friends experiencing homelessness that are on the streets, get to know them, talk to them, find out who they are, find out their stories, their hearts, what it is that they need, and then and take their input, which means I would invite them to the table. I think it's not helpful to talk about them without them. It is helpful to bring them to the table.
That's very important. That's very important. Because I remember one time, I guess back in 2017, I was coming from Mother Teresa's, and some employees, they was coming from a organization to help the homeless and things like that. And they was all going. I said, hey, where y'all going? Oh, we're going to City Hall. We're having a meeting about the homeless situation. I go, yeah. So I'm looking around, and I say, you ain't got nobody homeless that's going up there with you? So y'all know what's going on. But I'm like, man, you ain't got nobody that's homeless that's going up there can say what's going on with them.
Right, yeah.
So how y'all know what's going on with them?
So that's where I'm coming from. Don't sit around a round table that's in some ivory tower where you don't have any experience or any relationships with the people that you think you want to help.
Yeah.
So they're not all the same. And until you get to know people, whether you're talking about helping people on the streets or you're talking about helping people in a poor neighborhood or talking about helping your own neighbor, if you don't know them, if you don't know their stories, their hearts, then you don't really know what they need or how to help. And the most important thing that helps, I think, is actually being a friend.
Yeah, and for that situation, you look at that, and they're going up in the city hall and they're having a meeting about the homelessness. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't got nobody homeless going up in there.
Yeah.
So evidently, somewhere in your mind, you're already judged. Oh, we can't take nobody up in there because we can't take nobody up in here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you're not automatically judged.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why wouldn't you take somebody up in there?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're automatically in your mind already judged.
Yeah. Well, and that's what happens when you don't know that the people who are living on the streets are just as diverse and just as different from each other as real people, as people who are not on the streets, as any other community. The homeless community, in the homeless community, the people are just as different as anywhere else.
That's right.
So, well, thanks for talking about this.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. I'm going to share the script that my homeless friends are putting together, and this is just this helps to be able to understand it, just to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.